This is Daniela Camboni for Kitco News, continuing our coverage from the California Resource Investment Conference. Joining me now is Thom Calandra of babybulls.com. Thom, thank you so much for joining us today.
Always a pleasure, Daniela.
Well, it's hard work being here in Palm Springs, right?
Yeah, it's kind of tough being in the desert. You know, haven't been down here in a while, but love it.
So, Thom, tell us a little bit about what you came to tell attendees here.
Well, you know, most of the people who attend these shows that Joe Martin puts on for Cambridge House are individual investors, and they're always looking for new ideas. You know, 2011 was a tough year for equities. I know personally as an investor I was probably down 30 or 40%. Yet, I'd say since the low point in December, everything's up 10 to 30%, and some things more in natural resources. And I like that. People are looking for ideas: copper, gold, platinum, uranium, nickel. And, you know, I think there's no shortage of great ideas. It's trying to sift through the thousands of metals equities out there.
Right. Now, Thom, I know you say we shouldn't always listen to the experts, or tell us some things that experts don't say to the individual investor that they should know.
Well, you know, most experts have, I call it EEEE. A real expert is somebody who has expertise minus ego. So expertise minus ego plus experience equals an expert. What I think we see in not just in natural resources but everywhere is what I call expert textperts, right? You know, being an expert textpert means that they fashion their story or shape their story in text or on broadcast or in presentations. And, you know, unfortunately, some of the ones with the best presentation skills probably have the least to say. Now, that doesn't mean there aren't some great ones out there, and I think in natural resources there are. You know, I mean, I always love listening to Brent Cook because he's a real geologist.
Right.
I love anybody who actually goes to see projects, which I do. Right. Going to Cambodia next week to see Angkor Gold. I'm just back from Moscow, and we published something this morning, actually, on Cambridge Cafe on this huge thing in Russia called Kakura. So if you ask the right questions, I think you can get something out of the experts, but there are also almost always strings attached. I mean, most of us either have to work for a living or we have some kind of financial arrangement with the companies that we cover. And I do invest in some of the companies I cover, and I hope that some of them use our firm as clients of Torrey Hills Capital.
Right.
But in the end, I think you have to pick and choose very carefully.
So, yeah, you mentioned Brent. He's a good friend of ours here at Kitco News. But if we focus on gold now, Thom, what are your thoughts for the market within the next 6 months?
Well, there was somebody who sent me a great slide the other day, and I'm trying to remember his name. I actually use it in my presentation, and it shows how the longer the retrenchment in any gold rally, and let's say there have been 3 big gold rallies since 2001. The longer the retrenchment, the longer it takes for the gold price to get back up. Now, right now it's $1,700 gold, approximately $1,710. It looks like this. The recovery has started, and it could last anywhere from 34 to 38 weeks and set new highs. So, but in the end, I'm not a stock chartist, and I have friends who give me little memory sticks that tell me all about the chart patterns and overlaying them on other chart patterns. I'm a believer in what most people out there call fundamentals, and I have no problem buying physical gold and silver right here at $1,700 or $32 an ounce.
Right. So, Thom, what are you liking these days? Without giving, we can't mention specific companies, but what are you looking at? So you mentioned physical, gold, silver. What else?
I like copper porphyries. I like uranium companies. If you look, a couple days ago, the federal agency that controls the approval of nuclear reactors in the United States approved 2 nuclear reactors. I think they're in the eastern U.S. And, you saw some of the junior uranium stocks pop up on that news. I think uranium is going to continue to shock people. So, find a small collection of uranium companies while they're still cheap. Most of them aren't cheap that more. I love platinum here, especially platinum in South Africa. I love what we
platinum call ETFs or physical pool accounts.
I'm not an ETF person. I buy platinum. I buy platinum coins every time I'm in South Africa. I didn't go to Indaba this year, which just was over last week. I decided that I would rather go to Cambodia but South Africa is a great place to buy physical platinum and platinum coins, some of them representing the leaders of that country or non-leaders, as the case may be. But I also like the equities, and I won't mention any by name, but I do like platinum companies that operate in South Africa right now. And of course, I love copper, gold, porphyries.
Good. Finally, Thom, final thoughts for investors out there watching.
I think I used to have a friend in San Francisco who was great at these little phrases, and he'd always say, "You got to be in it to win it." And I got my I got burned, and I learned about 8 or 9 years ago, when I faced some enforcement action because I was trading a little too heavily. And now I mostly hold everything for long periods of time because I know that as long as you don't need the cash, at some point these things are going to have a great day. I'm buying everything that's under 10 cents a share right now. Of course, I own stuff that's $2 a share, but I think we're going to see a huge melt up in commodity prices and metals equities.
Excellent, Thom. I like that. I got burned and I learned. Thank you so much.
Okay. Thank you, Danielle. Always a pleasure.
And thank you for watching Kitco News. We'll have more coverage from the California Resource Investment Conference.